Flirting is cheating.
Divorce is not an option.
Your in-laws should be able to discipline your children. All right, guys, so we saw this on TikTok and I really wanted us to try it. So, Dominic, how does it work?
Basically, guys, we're gonna, we're a married couple. We've been married for not the longest time, but this is gonna be a fun game that we're gonna answer some questions
4 months.
and we're gonna discuss about things. These are questions that we've never really talked about that we saw going around. So being married and everything is always not necessarily about agreeing about everything, but kind of explain why you disagree with things and then kind of see the other person's perspective, right? So this is gonna be a fun game. It's gonna be pretty intense. There's some interesting questions, guys.
Yep.
So let's get into it. By the way, guys, we have our little faithful chapsticks that we're gonna go like this, slide it into this is how we're gonna choose what our opinion is, right?
Yep.
So, first question.
Flirting is cheating.
Yeah, we're gonna go there.
I was like, what?
Yeah, to me, any type of flirting is definitely cheating.
Yeah.
You
it opens the door.
Yeah, exactly. You open the door for things to happen. So I think it's best, when you're married, to remove yourself completely from the situation. And I think it's your job as a wife, as a husband, to not put yourself in that position, right? You should foresee situations and try to avoid them. But also the fact that there's also emotional cheating too, right? So if you flirt, why are you flirting, right? Flirting is with intent to lead to something.
100%.
What do you think?
I agree.
Next question.
Okay, next one is, as individuals, it's important to earn an income that makes a family financially comfortable. I agree. I agree. I agree.
Agree or strongly agree?
I strongly agree. Just for me, growing up, my parents didn't have a lot of money. So there's a lot of times it's there would be no food in the fridge and I get frustrated. And growing up, I always told myself, when I'm older, I'm not going to have kids until I have enough money to sustain a family, just because I know what it's like to go to school so hungry. And yeah, so that's why we've kind of waited to have children to make sure we have enough money and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, money isn't everything, but money does help so that your children are never hungry and they never feel the way I felt growing up. And it's also embarrassing. A lot of the times I would be embarrassed that my parents didn't have a lot of money, and I'd be embarrassed of them to come to the school because the way they would dress and stuff. So I would be embarrassed because I didn't have lunch money, or I didn't have a lunch at school, because my parents couldn't afford it.
So because they were struggling, it put more stress on you.
Yeah, 100%. And then I got a job when I was 15.
So would you put the same answer if you're answering as a wife versus as a family? As a wife, do you feel it is your job to provide?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that it should be 50-50. It shouldn't all be on the man, Because traditionally it's the man has to have this job. But I feel it puts less stress on you if I have a sustainable job too.
Yeah, there's just one way.
Yeah, 100%. So.
I put strongly agree too.
Yeah.
I'm traditional in the sense that I feel as a man too, I would be kind of, my main goal for the family would be to provide and to make sure that you have the option to want to, either go to work or not have to go to work. I would feel as a man to be my job to be able to put everyone in the position to be comfortable. So I would put extremely strongly agree.
Extremely strongly.
All right, next one. Divorce is not an option.
Divorce is not an option, Dominic. Okay. Why are you so hesitant? I want to know.
So wait.
It means divorce is not an option. No matter what, we can't get divorced. Even if you...
So if you do this, you can get divorced?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, okay, so I think I was getting mixed up the way that the question was phrased. But yeah, I would say disagree, but not strongly disagree, just for the simple fact that I feel like you do need to do what you can do to make it work. And, it's our jobs as husband and wife to do our best to, if there is a disagreement, that it's not the first option to jump to divorce. It's always try to resolve the problem. But I wouldn't say agree or disagree. I mean, agree or strongly agree, just for the simple fact that that's when you take into account like abusive relationships or like cheating or anything like that, right? So that's why I think like divorce is okay if it's something that is toxic, you know, like abuse, cheating, you know, emotional abuse, anything like that, that's not acceptable, and then that's divorce, you know?
Yeah, I 100% agree. This is a good one, and I want to know your opinion on this. Your in-laws should be able to discipline your children. So my parents should be able to discipline our children, or like your parents should be able to discipline our children. Nothing physical or anything, but like, you know, like yell at them if they do something wrong. Like, don't do that. Like, you know, what do you think?
You know, I was actually about to put agree, but I think it's okay if they were to discipline them, but I would rather here's my point. I would be okay if they were to discipline them, but I would rather, like, I wouldn't be mad, but I would rather that they would come to us and be like, listen, I was about to say the name. I was about to invent the name, but I was like, listen, your child, you know, did something wrong. This is what happened. It's up to you, like, do what you want, you know. That I would prefer that way. Then it's up to us as parents, you know, to be like, listen, okay, what should we do? And but wait, also another way is that the disciplinary actions would be different the way that we do it versus the way your parents and my parents would do it, right?
Yeah.
So I want the children, I would like the kids to, you know, understand that it is discipline, but I feel like if there's a bunch of different ways that they're being disciplined, they might not really understand. You know, you know, and then you never know, like, are you not there when they're disciplining them? You know, like, is it something they're doing when you're not there? I would always want to be there.
So what would happen if, like, our kids, like, let's say our kids are at my parents' house and they're like, be quiet, no. What would you, like, what would happen? My parents are just supposed to be like, all right, here. Because, you know, my parents are Congolese, you know?
No, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't be upset if they were to discipline them. But what I would rather it be like, they could say something along the lines of, you shouldn't do that. And but like, I would have confidence in our children that hopefully they respect. And they wouldn't disrespect. But if there is a circumstance that they do, it'd be best if our parents would be like, you shouldn't do that. Just wait till your parents get here. Or like your parents will deal with it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then like, if they say, oh, wait till your parents get here, they'll discipline you or something around those lines, they should be like, oh no.
It's our job to discipline our children, not our parents' job. Okay.
Yeah, and in a sense, we want to raise them the way we want to raise them, right? But at the same time, like I say, I do trust your parents and my parents. If they need to discipline, immediately, I wouldn't be upset, because at the end of the day, they raised you and they raised me, and we're both good people, and you know, we have morals and values, so I would trust their judgment too.
100%.
All right, keeping our relationship problems just between the two of us is best.
Oh. And I'm gonna be honest, like whenever like there's issues, like whenever, well, not issues, but like, you know how like in a relationship, like we argue, have disagreements and stuff like that. I'm the type of person, I literally I like to vent. I have to get it out. But the thing is, I'm very selective with my friends on what I say, you know? So with my mom, obviously I tell her everything. And then with my dad, my dad, he's very like, you're there. Like when I tell him, he just doesn't, he's just like, okay, whatever. But like it just depends on my friends, and especially like being on YouTube and stuff, I have to be careful with what I tell.
Who you trust.
What I tell, because next thing you know, Naka cheated on Dominic. Like, you know, so no. So that's what I say. I have specific friends on what I say, and I'm also very specific on what I say, because like when I vent to my friends, I don't bash you or anything. I just tell them what's going on. And also I need relationship advice, because a lot of my friends have been married for a really long time, so they know more than me, as well as my mom. And I always ask people that are in a relationship for advice. I don't go to my single friends for like my marital issues. I go to my friends that are married, or my mom that's been married for a long time and her marriage is successful. So that's what I do.
I think I could have probably wrote like agree instead of strongly agree, because I think it's good to vent, you know, because like it's always better to let things out. If you can't let things out to me, then it's better that it comes out than it stays in. So like, I understand. I would just say, depending on the problem too, there's a big difference, right? Because at the end of the day, kind of talking to a friend will never be positive.
Yeah.
You know, like, because your friends will always take your side. It's very rare that they're gonna kind of put you in your place or something like that, right? So when you vent and whatever, it can add fuel to the fire.
No, that's why sometimes I have specific friends for what, right?
Yeah.
And then my mom also, because my mom's very neutral whenever, even in high school,
if
when
the
I would
friend
ask.
is neutral,
That's
it's
what I
good.
do.
Yeah, if you have one of those, I think it really depends on the friend. Like for me, I don't like to air out dirty laundry, right? So, and a lot of times it could put thoughts in your head that you didn't have before, you know, or you know, it would change your friend. It could change your friend's opinion of
you,
you know, your husband, and then sometimes it's like you can't undo it, and then every issue down the road they immediately don't like him,
that's happened to me. My friend was venting to me about her man, and it's like I was like, whoa, I didn't know he was like that, and I didn't like him anymore, no matter what. So
and like, let's be honest, when you tell a story, it's your side of the story. So that's one thing, is that you could take something in the way that it happened, but it was totally different from the intent that was, it was totally different from the intent, right? So let's say that I took something this way, I'm going to tell the story like that way, right? Versus like, it might have not been how it actually went down. So it's very biased, right?
That's true.
That's my point. And I think it's a good thing that you said that not single friends, because asking advice, whatever, to someone who's single is like, they can't really relate.
Yeah, they can't relate.
You know? Versus someone who's in a healthy relationship, they'll totally give different advice. And like, the single one might want you to become single, be like, oh, like, let's go out, let's do this, you know, and then you'll become single, right? You know what I mean? So I think it's very good that you said that. You know, it's like, it's almost like if you disagree a little bit, because it's like you agree to, it's okay, but you have kind of boundaries.
I have boundaries with what I tell my friends, and like, I'm never gonna disrespect you, you know, like you're my husband. It's just like, things like that. Like when Dominic wanted me to cook more and I didn't want to, you know, like I went to my mom because I was like, ugh, it's so annoying, I don't want to cook, you know, but like just things like that. So I am.
And your mom has your best interest at heart, right? So she does kind of give like neutral, like good advice.
Yeah, and she gives me like recipes and stuff now. So it's just like things like to help me be a better wife.
Like, your mom knows how to be a wife.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So she can kind of coach, and like, when you're a wife and, you know, you're married, everything's new, right? So you do like train, you do kind of coach. It's good to get coaching, like as a husband or as a wife, from someone who's actually done it for 20, 30 years, right?
Yeah. Oof.
So
the cooking part, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, last one is, okay, this is a good one, and I really want to know like what you think on this, and it's everyone has a soulmate.
A soulmate?
Yes, a soulmate. What do you think? I want to hear what you have to say.
So I do agree that I think everyone has a soulmate. I don't think everyone has only one soulmate.
Okay.
I think it's very possible that someone has multiple soulmates, you know, and at the end of the day, someone in a relationship, for me, for example, I need specific things in a relationship for it to work, right? Or else it's not going to work. But let's say I need, for example, like 5 things, right? It's possible that there's like, 7 billion, 9 billion people in the face of the earth. It's possible that someone else could provide those 5 things.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that I would have the same relationship that I have with you, right? So I agree that, you know, people do have soulmates. You know, and that kind of goes into the question, you know, people who get widowed or whatever, right? And they remarry.
That's true.
Does that mean one of them was not a soulmate? But they're like, what if they married and they were super happy, and then, you know, that person unfortunately passed away, and then they remarried, but they're happier than they were before, or like a divorce or whatever, right? So like, I do think there's possible that it's more of a compatibility thing, right? Soulmate, I do believe that could be like,
it's a strong word, I think.
Yeah, I think soulmates is more so, as well as, you know, depending on your faith and the afterlife, right?
Okay, yeah.
I think that is kind of more soulmate, where your souls do, you know, and people believe sometimes that you have like different lives and you always end up meeting the same person.
Someone said that about me and Dominic. They said like we've had many different lives and we always met. I was like, ooh.
So maybe it is soulmate, but you do feel some type of energy if you know you're with the right person, right? Like what I said, that that person could provide the 5 things or whatever, for example, but it's possible I'll never love them as much as I love you, right?
That's true.
So that's a tricky question.
I agree, because I do think that, well, growing up, I was brought up that, oh, you have that one person that, you know, they're gonna be the perfect one for you. But as I got older, there's no one that's perfect, and there's, you know, everyone has their little icks and stuff like that. And the thing is, like, I agree that people are meant to be with certain people, but at the same time, like, not everyone meets their soulmates because of like events in lives and stuff like that.
And the world's so big.
Exactly. And there's a lot of people that, like, you know, they don't get in a relationship, it doesn't work out, they keep getting played, you know. So it's just like, it's like if they were to give the guy that they don't think of a chance, you know, maybe that's their soulmate, but it doesn't work out. So I agree, but like, not everyone ends up with their soulmate, you know.
True one.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Do you think that, you know, as you know, everyone has their first love, right? And you almost never forget who your first love is. Do you think your first love is you're supposed to kind of use that, and like high school sweethearts, your first love, is that supposed to be to your soulmate, and then like that's why the love is so strong, like forever? Or do you think like every time you get heartbroken, like your soul kind of, and then you have less love to give, you know what I mean?
I don't think so.
You always have the same love?
I think of the first guy that I ever fell in love with. I mean, he was trash, but he taught me something, and it was a good lesson. But like, I don't love them the way I love you. Like, it's a different love with you. Like them, it was like young love, exciting and new.
And that's what I mean, right?
Yeah, it was like heart beating.
So like, what if you never had that first love, and then you have that in your first boyfriend or husband that is like, you know, like arranged marriage or something, right? So that's an interesting comment. And you know, like, you know, like a heart, or like, you know, when you break like a piece of glass, right? Like, imagine it's the heart, you break it, you put it back together, but there's still always cracks, right?
It's true, you'll never be the same, but
I think you learn from it. You grow and you learn from it.
And understand when like your first love, you're probably, when you're young, everything is exciting. And like, when I look back and think of how that guy treated me, it's sometimes like you think it's not real, you know. It's you make up like that love, that fantasy, like it's really not real. When I look back, and I was like, it's really not that deep.
It's not real love. And I understand sometimes when, you know, teenagers date and stuff, and like in the movies, the parents are like, they don't really take it seriously, right?
Because it's not that deep.
When you grow older, you kind of understand
but
things.
When you're a teenager, it's like
it's the world,
everything. It's so like intense. And that's why I'm grateful, like when I was a teenager, I didn't really... That's why I'm really grateful, because when I was a teenager, I was still growing into my looks and stuff. I was very like small and like timid. So I only started to deal with guys like in grade 12 and stuff like that.
Me too, after high school.
After like later on. That's when I blossomed.
Had one girlfriend like all high school, so I never did anything in high school. And then after high school, when we broke up, it was like in college. That's when I started to like that's when I started to like mature and grow as a person. But I do believe you need to go through things to be able to grow and to find out what you like and what you don't like. You know, like the people that I dated in the past, they helped me find you, right? They helped me find like, oh, as soon as I met you, I knew I like this about you, I like this about you, because I knew that's what I was looking for, but I didn't necessarily know that's what I needed or what I was looking for before I went through experiences.
100%.
I think it's super important too, like to experience life. You know?
100%.
And like that's what they say, like when you're older, you know, you grow wise or whatever.
Yeah,
people who grow wise is just because they've experienced things. Yeah. I know you can read about something, but
you have to experience. Experience it. It's different. Yeah.
Give you a perfect example as a basketball player, right? You can read the rules and know everything.
About that?
Oh yeah. You can read the rules and know everything about basketball. It doesn't mean you'll be able to sink 3-pointers or free throws or be like able to like dribble and stuff. Like you actually have to be in the game, or like, you know, you can read about recessions, but you won't know how to invest if you've not been through a recession. You know, the next time you're better. Yeah. So yeah.
This time bull run.
Anyways,
so
guys,
that was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let us know if you strongly agree or disagree with some of the things we mentioned. We're always open for a discussion. In life, guys, we don't always have to agree. We just have to be respectful. And it's not really realistic to basically agree to every single thing in life. You know, if you're with someone and you're like, oh, you know, I can't date them because they don't agree with me that, you know, the best color in the world is green. It's not that deep. You know what I mean? So it's all about communication and discussing with your partner. Hopefully you like this video, guys. Comment, subscribe. Bye. Talk to you soon.